Hi, I'm Sarah from Knitting-and.com. Today I'm going to show you how to work a flower loom technique called single weaving. All of these flowers were made with the single weaving technique, and I'll show you how to work all of the different techniques in this video. The first single weaving technique I'm going to show you is a basic centre. You can do this on any flower loom. I'm using a Studio 12 Magnifleur loom today. I've wound my loom, and if you don't know how to wind the yarn onto a flower loom, I have other videos that you can check out that show you how to do that. I've wound twice around each size of pegs. You can stitch using any of the colours that you've used in your flower. Just take the end, leave about 3 feet when you cut the yarn, and you can start weaving. I'm going to use a different colour to stitch my centre today, so I'm going to put these threads to the back of my work and tie them in a knot. I've threaded the loose ends onto a needle, and I'm just going to put them to the back of my work between the petals. And that will keep them out of the way while I'm working. To work the single weave on your flower, you'll need some yarn threaded into a blunt needle. The amount that you use will depend on how many rounds you're going to weave. I use 3 feet as a standard. I don't always use all of that yarn, but it's plenty for this type of centre. Bring the needle up from the back of your work between 2 petals and pull it through, leaving about 4 to 6 inches on the back to darn in later. Now, to do the single weave, you put the needle down inside the petal and pull it through. You can tie this first stitch in a knot. I don't usually. I just hang on to it at the back and pull it tight when I darn in the ends later on. Now come up between the petals and pull through and go back down inside the petal. Come up between the petals and back down inside the petal. Keep doing that until you've gone all the way around once, and I'll show you how to begin the next round. Now, I've stitched all the way around once, and this is my last stitch here. You can see that if I was to bring the needle up in the same space as the row before, I would be stitching over the same group of threads. For this round, I want to stitch this second group of threads for each petal. Now, instead of coming up here for this round, I'm going to go over one more group of threads and come up in the middle of each petal. And then I'm going to go down between each petal. So this is the opposite of what we did on the last round. And that creates a stitch on the left hand side of each petal. Now I'm going to keep going around and finish that round the same. Come up in the middle of each petal and go down between petals. And keep doing that all the way around. I've stitched all the way around again. And this is the last stitch that I worked. So now I want to skip 2 threads, and for this round will be coming up between the petals again, just like I did on the first round. And you want to keep weaving rounds, as many rounds as you like, in order to finish your weaving. I work a minimum of 4 rounds on these flowers just to make sure that they're held tight. So I'm going to work another 2 rounds on this flower and then show you what it looks like when taken off the loom. Here's my finished flower taken off the loom. And I've darned the ends in on the back. If you want to know how to darn the ends in on the back of your flower, check out my backstitch flower loom video. I show you how to do it in that video. Another type of flower that you can make using this technique is one that's woven all the way out to the edges. For this technique you'll need to either use just the centering of pegs on your loom, or you can use any loom that has only a single row of pegs. This is just a small collection of the type of looms that you can use to weave all the way out to the edge. I have a homemade loom here and I show you how to make those on my website. I'll give you a link in this video. A knitwit loom with the spokes that come out the side. The daisy loom or daisy winder, it's the same sort of loom. Any upright loom that just has one row of pegs, and you can get the looms with pegs that you can take out as well. And this is a Fiorella loom. This is the largest of the flower looms that I know of. So you can make flowers that are woven all the way out to the edge on any of these style of looms. This is another style of loom that you can use to weave all the way out to the edge. This is a Hamanaka Flower Motif Card. And I'll give you a link to where I bought these in the video notes. I'm going to show you how to change colours. I've worked all the way around. I'm back to where I would normally begin my round of weaving. Normally I would go under the next 2 threads to start my next round, but this time I'm going to go over the last thread and pull that to the back. Now I'm going to thread my next colour and show you how to start that off. To start my next colour, I'm bringing the yarn up from the back in the same spot. I'm going to leave a tail about 4 to 6 inches, and then I'm just going to start weaving. So you'll notice this time that instead of missing these 2 threads, I've just brought the yarn up over the very first thread that I would have missed, and I'm going to keep weaving around. To finish off this flower, I'm going to weave all the way out to the edge and then just take it off the loom and darn the ends in. You can tie the last thread in a knot if you're worried about pulling it tight, but I don't bother doing that anymore. I used to, but I find it's not necessary. These flowers can be slightly cupped when you take them off the loom. I use wool and I just give them a good steam iron afterwards, and that makes them lay flat. You can use this technique for any material. This is a flower that I made using rayon ribbon straw. Another design that you can create using this technique is vertical stripes, and all you need to do to create the stripes is to change the colour every round. You don't need to cut the yarn, just bring it up from one row to the next, and that will create the vertical stripes.